Hi, welcome back. Today we're in the Chicago Faucets demo room and I'm going to demonstrate the basic installation steps for our E-Tronic 80 multi-bank soap dispenser. Now this comes in 2, 3, and 4 dispenser units. This is a 4. It's set up on a kind of a demo cabinet here so you can see all the parts. I'll show you how to install the dispenser first, and then we'll run through the steps to attach the soap, the power, and then to prime it and get it ready to dispense soap. So let's get started. Now the first thing we need to do is to attach this gasket to this deck washer here. So all we're going to do there is we're going to remove this paper backing from the gasket. And there's a kind of a flat side on the deck washer. We want to attach to that, kind of line it up so that the hole and the wings kind of match up. That's good enough. Press it down and you're ready to install it. Now there's a gasket on the bottom of the dispenser. You want to make sure that's in place. And then you want to route the soap and air tubes and the power cable through the sink deck. Obviously this is a demo cabinet, so this is not real world, but you get the idea. These would go down through the sink deck. Now you're going to take that sort of bat wing deck washer, and you're going to want to make sure the bat wings are kind of pointed toward the back. Those are to accommodate the tubes and prevent them from getting pinched, and the power cable as well. I'm going to slide that onto that shank, and then you're going to take the deck nut and thread that on there nice and snug by hand first, and then use a wrench to tighten it the rest of the way, just to keep everything nice and secure against the deck. And once you tighten it up and then hit it with a wrench, yeah, that's not going anywhere. Nice and snug. The soap bucket comes more or less pre-assembled as you see it here without these connections. We're going to tackle that next. You want to position it where the air and soap tubes can reach the dispensers, but without getting kinked or bent around sharp objects or anything like that. And also so that the power cable can reach from the unit itself to the wall outlet where you're going to plug it in. These tubes can be trimmed to length if you don't need the entire length of the soap tubes and the air tubes. You can trim them, and then that keeps things flowing properly. But just make sure that they don't get kinked or twisted or anything like that when you're setting everything in position. The soap bucket comes with a funnel for soap fill, so you would just remove this cap, drop in the funnel, and pour in your soap. There's a minimum fill indicator, so you don't want to let the soap go any lower than that. And there's a max, so you can fill it up. You don't have to fill it all the way to the max, but get it as close as you can, but at least be above the minimum when you're ready to start priming. So next we're going to connect the clear hoses from the soap dispenser down to the soap pump and the air pump on the soap bucket. It doesn't matter which one goes in which, just one to one, one to the other. Just never swap them around after you got it installed. And they come with these little hose clamps that you can use to secure these hoses to the pumps, and that'll keep the connection nice and snug and prevent any leaking or the hoses from slipping off the connections. So let's connect them now. All right, we'll connect the first hose to the air pump. So we'll push that down over the nozzle, and then we'll use the pliers, grab that hose clamp, and tighten that down around the hose and the nozzle to secure it in place. There we go. Now, same thing, we'll just take the other clear hose and attach that to the soap pump. Slip it right down under the nozzle. Tighten the hose clamp around there, and now that's nice and snug. Next, we're going to connect the IR sensor cable to the corresponding cable on the soap pump. Now that's keyed. As you can see, there's a sort of a little notch there. So that matches up with a slot on the soap pump cable. You line those up. You don't want to bend those pins, and then you push that together. And then there's a sort of a threaded collar on the soap pump cable. You tighten that down, and then there's no chance that, yeah, that's good and snug. That's not going to come apart. Now you want to make, if this is a four unit soap dispenser, so you want to make that same connection on all the dispensers, all 4 or 2 or 3, depending on what kind of unit you have. The next critical connection is from the soap pump to the air pump. Now the air pump has a female connection on it. The soap pump has 2 connections, one for power and one for the air pump. So what you want to do is find the male connector, and it is also keyed, so there's a flat on the female and a corresponding flat inside the male, and you want to connect those together. There are some arrows that would indicate, that it's connected. I don't know if you can see that, but there are arrows, so that's connected properly. You're going to make that same connection on all the other dispensers as well. Next, we'll connect the AC transformer cable to the corresponding connection on the soap pump. That's also keyed and marked, so I'm going to see if I can get a nice close-up so you can see how to get that connected. There you can see the arrow on the connector from the soap pump. There is an arrow on the AC transformer cable as well. It's a little harder to see. You might be able to make that out there, but anyway, there's a flat that corresponds to the flat on this connection. So you can just line that up, line up the arrows if you can make them out, but the important thing is to make sure that flat is there so that'll secure that connection. And you make that same connection for all 4 pumps, soap pumps on the unit. That's real easy. Again, line up the arrows and they connect very easily, just like that. Once you've made all the connections from the soap pumps to the transformer, you're ready to initiate your mains AC power connection. In other words, plug it in. Now let's talk for a minute about priming the soap dispensers. As you can see, they come from the factory with these labels over the IR sensors. If you leave those in place when you first plug in that AC transformer, these units will begin priming automatically. They'll should take about 10 seconds. You should see soap coming, and at that point you can remove the labels and it'll stop, or it'll stop automatically after 3 minutes. But that's a lot of soap, so you might want to interrupt the priming process once you see that they're actually dispensing soap. Now, if these labels have been removed before you plug in the transformer, you've got 30 minutes to come back to the units, place your hand or something over the IR sensor to begin the priming process. There's no priming button or anything like that. You cover the sensor, and that starts the priming process. And again, about 10 seconds, you should see some soap. You can wait, and then when you take your hand away, then the priming is complete. Just a couple more things to take note of. There is a low soap warning on these dispensers, so when the soap is low, the LED and the sensor will switch on and stay on for 4 seconds, and then off for 2, stay on for 4, off for 2, and it'll repeat that until the soap is refilled. There's also a cleaning mode on these dispensers, so you can hold your hand over the sensor for 5 seconds, it'll dispense a little bit of soap, and then you keep your hand there, then after 5 seconds it'll shut off, you can take it away, and you've got a minute to clean around the sensor, and it's not continually spitting soap on you, and then after a minute it'll return to normal operation. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Your E-Tronic 80 multi-bank soap dispenser is ready for operation. Thank you for your time.